Welcome to ABL Hot Corner, a show that brings you all the good stuff from around the Australian Baseball League. I'm Brooke Burris Kilpatrick. With me is Jamie Janga Cloden, and tonight we're talking playoff scenarios. Okay, Clodes, we had a pretty wild weekend.
Yes,
on the weekend.
Indeed.
Every series was a 3-1 win, and there was one big loser of the weekend.
That would be the Heat.
That would be our reigning champion, Perth Heat. Done.
They're done.
They're cooked.
Perth and Melbourne put the queue in the rack.
Put the queue in the
next
rack.
year.
So we're down to 4, and there's a lot of different scenarios that can happen depending on who gets the W's this weekend.
Well, we know that Brisbane and Canberra are sure things to make the playoffs.
Correct.
Still don't know who's going to finish where and play where and everything.
Absolutely.
Up for grabs still.
So Brizzy Bandits in the box seat, of course. But there is a scenario if Canberra can come through with the sweep.
Yes.
And Brizzy lose 3 of 4, then Canberra will go through and take top spot.
Yeah, well, it's going to be tough for Canberra. They're travelling to Cooper Stadium in Adelaide.
Travelling here.
Right there.
Yep.
So that's no mean feat. Bite played some good ball on the weekend against Perth in that series, but as we've seen already this year, anything's possible. Anything's
possible, and the Sydney Blue Sox are not quite done.
No, they are still in the mix. So that if they go ahead and sweep their merry way through the weekend, and Canberra do a number on Bite,
they sneak into third spot, and the Bite go home.
Exactly.
So yeah, a lot of scenarios can happen. So it's going to be a pretty exciting series on the weekend.
Oh, it's going to be huge, especially when you're talking Brisbane and Canberra are playing for the home championship series. That's the biggest carrot of all, I think.
Should be a lot of home fans out at the ballpark this weekend because, as I say, every home team can make it. So get your butts along.
Exactly right.
All right, well, so just shortly we'll go on to some of the wraps.
Yes.
Talk about what went down on the weekend. But yeah, Perth Heat, thanks for playing.
Yes, good night. Okay, Boris, Brisbane played Melbourne on the weekend, top v bottom. What happened, mate?
Well, actually, it was a pretty interesting series, and there were some pretty close games as well. Brizzy took the Chocolates 3 games to 1, but the game scores were 4-1 Brizzy, 3-2 Brizzy, 2-1 Bandits, and finally Melbourne busted out in game 4 with an 11-3 smashing.
Avoided the sweep.
The Bats were not afraid in game 4.
I'll tell you what, they were using some different gloves too between the blokes. Every member of the starting 9 played multiple positions.
Yeah.
Logan Moon DH the whole game.
I think
they had 5 third basemen throughout the game. And
see what happens when you have fun, mate?
Bit of fun had by all.
Have fun, get some W's. So there's a few highlights from that series which we should talk about. One big one is Ryan Searle. He broke the ABL record for saves.
Yeah, 16,
during the series.
I believe. 16
currently he has, which is one more than Matty Williams.
Yes.
Our own Matty Williams here with the Adelaide Bite, who at the time was playing, of course, with the Sydney Blue Sox.
Yeah, that was a very Searle-like season too that Matty had.
Yeah, he was lights out that year, and as Searle has been just amazing this year, he had 2 more saves during the series in the weekend.
Yep. And
once again, just solidified the back end of those Brisbane victories.
You take into account he's got a couple of W's as well.
So, I think he's got 4 wins. Maybe ERA of about 0.4. Gave up a run on the weekend, which bumped it up to a massive 0.48 or something.
Oh, so he's in a bit of a slump.
Yeah, a bit of a slump.
Yeah.
So yeah, look, hats off to Ryan Searle. He's been amazing all year for Brisbane in that role, and it stands him in very good stead coming to the big stuff.
Definitely.
Something else happened the weekend. Logan Wade, who we had as a hot hitter last week, stayed hot. He hit 2 home runs in 1 game.
Yes.
And that was pretty much the offense in that game.
Well, that was the 3-2 win. Yeah.
So Logan Wade, very important there. We had Melbourne pounding out 18 hits to 6 in game 4, which was just unbelievable. There was home runs to Moon, Hill, and Davies as well.
Yep.
Knocked one over. So that was their only win of the series. But when you look at the series in its entirety, Melbourne out-hit Brizzy by I think 37-27.
Well, we had 3 close games, then the blowouts, so that does make sense. That all adds up, really, doesn't it?
It does, but it also goes to show that Melbourne's still pretty much in most games they play, but just can't get the wins.
And
it's been the story all year.
Yeah, and those close games, Searle and his bullpen mates are just very important.
Bit of extra class there. Like a couple of the guys struggled a bit in game 4 in the bullpen, but all in all, they've just got some really good. I mean, the solid starters.
Yep.
They've continued to pull up good starts.
I think Jarvis picked up his 8th win for the
Jarvis win
year.
number 8.
Yeah.
Yep, absolutely. And of course, Teasley's been really good.
Yes.
And Erasmus has even been pitching in.
And a young bloke called Blackley.
Blackley,
hanging
yeah,
around the place.
just came up for his second start and threw, I think, 6 digs.
Mm.
Very strong start, 6 Ks and a win.
Not a bad recruit, business end.
Not a bad recruit. You think in a short series now, they've got some extra guys they can use, because they were sort of struggling with that last guy, game 4.
Yeah.
But now,
No
add
longer.
Blackley to the mix as a starter, look out, anyone that plays them.
There's your rotation right there.
So the Banditos, looking the goods.
They are, and they're going to have to drop their bundle a fair bit to not get the home championship series, but stranger things have happened.
Good money's on them playing at home, which would be fantastic for their home fans. They drew a good crowd at Holloway, and they've been a bit starved of success for a while. So
Well, they're playing good baseball, so the people are coming out to watch it. We're getting great crowds.
they are playing some really good ball on both sides of the ball. So hats off to them, and we'll see how they go in the playoffs. Now, Clothes, you had the luxury of sitting back, feet up, watching a bit of Sydney Blue Sox action.
Yeah, well, not on Thursday night, I didn't.
Against the bit of a rain out,
Bit of
mate.
precipitation.
Yeah, got the washing done instead, mate.
Yes.
Did the dishes for the missus.
Yeah, went and got a haircut.
Good boy.
Oh, a bit.
Didn't take long.
No, quick night.
Sensational. So how'd that one go? Cavs and Blue Sox.
Yeah, well, game 1. Well, again, as we said, all 3 series were 3-1. So the Cavs took the chocolates, but game 1 was a close one, 3-2. It was obviously Friday night. It's the first leg of a doubleheader because of the Thursday rain out. But Craig Anderson, Brian Grenning took the hill. The
Miss Anderson again. Back into it.
Yes, Craig Anderson and Brian Grenning matched up Battle of the Aces, and both pitched really well. But well, Anderson had to hand it over the bullpen after I think it was 5 innings he threw. Came out with the 1-1 scoreline. Grenning stuck around for the 6th, and he managed to pick up the W as his boys.
A bit of a horse,
tacked on a couple.
isn't he, Grenning? He just does tend to squeeze an extra dig out with the high pitch count.
Yeah.
He's that sort of guy.
He was. So he went 6 in the end, and then Colton Turner, Aaron Thompson, and Michael Click threw 7, 8, and 9 to shut it out. So that was game 1. Game 2 was the late game, obviously, of the doubleheader, and Sydney took it 2-0. That one was Lachlan Wells picking up his first.
Yeah, Lockie
first win.
Wells. He's really sort of come into his own last couple of starts. Just a bit more work and looking the goods.
Yeah. Well, he went head to head with Stephen Kent, and it was a pitcher's duel. But Wells took the chocolates. Van Steensel came in, got another save.
TVS racked another up.
Yep.
Throwing a pretty heavy ball.
So as good as we've mentioned him before, Calvin Drummond was good in the first half. Van Steensel's just come in nicely into that closing role.
Arm. Yeah, quality arm. Quality Twitter guy as well.
That's it. And
Quality tunes, quality pitches. And he actually had a giveaway during the week. Sorry, he had a giveaway where he gave away his nameplate from one of his jerseys. So if you see someone rocking around with the TVS in the back, you'll know where it came from.
That's different.
Yeah.
You've given him away. While you were saying quality, reminded me of their lead-off guy, Trent D'Antonio.
Yeah, unbelievable.
Just kept getting hits, and Grant Hayman as well. It was good. They were the 2 guys that got him over the line. Game 3 was back to Canberra though. They took another win there, 7-4. Lewis Cohen in his 3rd start for the Cavs.
He's been pretty strong of late.
Yeah, only 3 starts, but they've all been quality.
Yep.
He's been real good, and the other night was no exception. Gave up 2 early, but then after that went on his merry way, and the bats helped him out. They really got a hold of Wayne Lundgren, who probably had his worst start of the year.
Yeah, hasn't had too many bad ones.
No, but gave up I think it was 7. Yep. Whereas Cohen was able to go 7 innings and only give up a few. So they went home with the win there, and then game 4 once again, another win. This time a dominant pitching performance.
The Cone Man.
Yep, David Cohn's Raleigh Scott. He pitched like David Cohn.
He's been good.
A complete game 1 hitter. One interesting thing though, only 1 strikeout for the whole game.
Yeah, so just piffed it around the mark and got some ground outs, plenty of ground outs, pop outs, and got it done.
Yeah, so it was just
crafty Cone.
Tyler Bortnick got a single off him in the 3rd. That was it, hit wise. Hit a guy and a few walks.
Yeah.
So pretty easy. So I guess 3-1 series win to the Cavs. The wash up of the series basically is Sydney need to a lot of things to fall their way.
They've got a lot of work to do. Even though they've got Melbourne, they've got a lot of work to do because they're relying pretty much on Adelaide not winning a game against Canberra.
Exactly. So they've got it all to do in front of them, whereas Canberra, their pitchers really stepped up again this week.
Yeah, and we've spoken recently about them struggling, but they had a really good series in the weekend.
Well, all year it's been Grenning and Kent have been the 1-2 dominant punch, and they've been floating around the 3 and 4 guys. Lewis Cohen, Scott Cohen, probably the 2 best pitchers of the weekend for them.
Yeah, and which is excellent for them coming into a playoff series where they can rely on those guys to give them solid starts.
Exactly.
With the bats they've got, that can keep them in any game.
That's it. And with that good bullpen now, where they've got the 7, 8, 9 innings nailed down. it's going to be tough for I think any of those, for whether it's Sydney or Adelaide that does pick up that third spot. It's going to be tough, I think, to get in there amongst the Brisbane-Canberra party.
Agreed. The team that finishes third is going to have their work cut out playing away against either of those teams, obviously, which is probably going to be Canberra. Yeah,
you would think so, but it's going to be a very, very interesting weekend, put it that way.
See how it shapes up? Thanks, Clothes. Well done.
Now, we've spoken about it already tonight. Adelaide-Perth series was a cracker over in the West. A big one for Adelaide in terms of having a crack at that third spot. Tell us the details, mate.
Well, turn the tables on what normally happens when Adelaide go west. They've usually struggled historically over there. But
especially
Adelaide,
after Christmas.
After Christmas, normally Perth, as we discussed, obviously the boat trip wasn't as good this year. But Adelaide were sensational. Played some really, really good baseball. Some close games again. Adelaide won obviously 3-1, and the game scores were 5-3, 5-2, 2-1, with Nicky Talbot starting game 3. So he was very good.
Got the job
and Perth won 4-2 game 4. But had some real good highlights from this one. Steve Chambers, 8th win. Tying Justin Jarvis, as discussed before. So he went 6 innings, gave up just 7 hits, 5 Ks and 1 base on ball. So once again, as he has done all year, really solid performance on the hill from Steve Chambers.
Always handy having that strong guy get you on board in game 1. Just sets up the series that much better.
Very big rumour, the Adelaide hierarchy are trying to get their claws into him to come back again next year.
Why wouldn't you?
Why wouldn't you indeed? He's been very good. Friday night's game was just an absolute perler. The starters on the hill. Tommy West was umpiring. We interviewed Tommy a couple of weeks ago, and Tommy upset a few people with a fairly liberal strike zone, you could say.
Could hear a few muffled boos in the background.
Yeah, I think I can still hear Luke Hughes spitting the chewy at one stage on a bit of a bender, which was not quite in the strike zone, you could say. But that game was unbelievable. Edwin Carl, your man, your boy, he had 11 strikeouts.
Can pitch.
He can pitch, and he was up against Joshy Tolles, who has stepped up as a starter.
Can also pitch.
After the last few weeks, and he threw 9 strikeouts of his own. So 20 Ks between those two guys at the start. It went to late in the game pitching duel, and Adelaide's situational hitting got him through for the win.
Geez, Tolles has been good since he's stepped into that rotation, hasn't he?
Really good.
3 excellent starts.
Yep, he's just throwing around the mark. Doesn't give up too many easy ones, not too many walks. Makes the guys put it in play. But 9 strikeouts from him was unbelievable. Yeah. Like I say, the strike zone was a tad bigger than normal.
But you pitched to it.
Pitched to what it is, which both guys did, so it's really good. Like I said, Nick Talbot came out in game 3, got the win. Really important for him as Adelaide decide what to do with their starting rotation.
Well, he's been in and out of the rotation a bit this year.
That's right.
Whereas Tolsey's been in the bullpen all year up until the last few weeks. Talbot's been in and out, so starts like that. Never know what Mintz is thinking now.
Well, that's right, because Matty Williams started game 4, did okay, but got the loss, so they've got decisions to make when they get into they make the playoffs. What they're going to do with the rotation. I mean, it's pretty obvious that it's going to be Chambers. Probably Tolles will pitch game 2 the way he's pitched. Probably deserve that. But the third guy might be up for grabs. Yeah,
it was interesting too when you look at this this series with Adelaide. Is all 4 starters were Australian starters, no imports.
Exactly.
Starters, they all came out of the bullpen, so.
Nice bit of local product.
Yeah.
Good to see. And those guys, obviously Tolles and Williams, are versatile, so they can switch between starting, going in the bullpen,
any role,
whatever they're needed for.
Yeah.
And the other good thing for Adelaide was the back end of the bullpen. Hee-Chun Lee has been thrown pretty well. Obviously Luke Van Mill, party liaison, has pitched really well.
Tallest guy in
Big
the world.
fella, piffing it down pretty hard. And then Cody Kursky, who's been one of the premier closers in the league as well, has given Adelaide now something to sort of hang their hat on going to the bullpen.
Well, it's good too, the fact that you got Lee coming from the left side, Kursky and Van Mill from the right. You've got there's that versatility there, so you don't have to just lock in the definite closer. You can do matchups if you want to, the lefty righty. So
exactly. So that's been great for them. For the Heat, the same old story. Their bats just didn't get going.
Yeah.
As it's been all year, we kept thinking they would come alive. But it didn't happen. They had one guy, Dunnigan, big fella. Massive. Has I think he could probably power a small wind farm with the power he generates from his swing. But he didn't hit too many. Hit one that went a long way. But didn't hit too many.
Yeah, well, he's been sitting in the 4-hole for him for a few weeks now. But
Terrell Prime had to go home, which hurt him a bit, of course.
Yeah, but Dunnigan, he's Yeah, definitely a big unit, ready to smash
Big
it, but
guy.
just hasn't quite connected probably as they'd hoped down the stretch.
Not one of those guys that like shortening up for that third strike.
No.
Either. 3 big hacks and see how we go.
Yeah.
So Perth Heat couldn't get it going on offense.
Mm-hmm.
For the whole series, the bye hit Perth just 31 to 26, but the situational hitting was much better.
It's when you get those hits, isn't it?
A couple of times they had second and third 2 out.
Mm-hmm.
I remember at one stage Travis Demerit just a couple of pretty borderline strikes called. So early in the season he would have gone flailing probably the next one, but he bared down, hit one into the deck, bounced over third base, scored 2 runs.
And that's one of the adjustments when we spoke to him back before Christmas. He was saying that's one of the things he's working on while he's out here. Is he knows he strikes out a lot. Working on that contact side of his game and putting the ball in play more. And it's at bats like that show that perhaps he has been working on it hard and it's coming to fruition. Yeah,
his second half's been really good, and it's obviously been very important for the bite. As is Mark Wick, who just doesn't seem to get out.
No,
he is on base all the time. He's been really impressive.
Yeah.
So those 2 guys
playing everywhere over the diamond too at the moment.
Well, that's his versatility. Obviously, infield, outfield, and he's been just like I say, getting on base all the time. Which has been massive for the bite. So Adelaide basically passed the big test. Went to Perth, got the chocolates, and are now in very good shape to be in the playoffs as probably the third team of the 3.
Well, yeah, they've set themselves up well, and they've really got to fall in a hole this weekend to not be number 3 in the rankings.
Just have to pinch a W. If Sydney go all the way, pinch a W and they're in. And finally, Rob Hobson, who's a massive Perth Heat guy, follows them around. Saw him in an Adelaide Bite jersey on the weekend. That probably says it all. He jumped the fence.
Got to the dark
jumped
side.
The fence, had the Bite jersey. He looked pretty good in it too. So Rob, well done, mate. Way to see you come across and join the Bite boys as they push for the playoffs.
It is. Well, thank you for the wraps. And we'll be back after this with some hot hitters.
Hot hitters! Okay, Clodes, time for some hot hitters this week.
Yes.
Who are your boys? Who did you see? Who smashed the pill? Who did you like? Who hit it long?
I'm going to mix it up this week. We're not going to go with the guys that necessarily got the most hits or the longest hits or stole the bags or the shortest hits if they're bunting, yes. But basically 2 guys that got some pretty big knocks at pretty big times. First one being, you've already mentioned him, Travis Demerit.
The Trav Dog Millionaire.
Yes, that's him.
Very impressive.
The base hit he got to drive in a couple at a crucial game. So it was game 2, tied at 2 in the 8th. Huge game.
It was massive.
Big picture.
Fantastic game of baseball.
But Scott Mitchison, the big heat closer, came in to
side pieces
do the job. Yep. And as you say, Demerit had a pretty long and detailed at bat, but got that knock that drove in a couple and they got him over the line. So. As far as I'm concerned, that made him a hot hitter for the weekend.
Good call. He's been really good of late, as we discussed. And those couple of at-bats, he mashed one pill, almost went through the ground. He hit it that hard, and it's bounced right over third base's head. Scored 2, and the Bite held on for the win after that.
Did the job.
He's been playing really well in the field as well. So got to tip your hat. He struggled at the start of the season with a lot of strikeouts, but he's come back and played some really good ball. So Travis, well played.
Yes. And who are you going to put in the mix?
I like David Harris because
the Cavs?
He's Calvin's brother and bangs a few good tunes after the game.
Yes.
But he's just been impressive all season. Great hitter.
Yeah.
Really good quality hitter. We've spoken obviously about Brisbane's David Williams, who's Justin Williams, who's been awesome. But certainly David Harris has looked the goods. Just looks like a quality player.
And he's been top of the pots with the batting average leaders.
Yep.
All year, top 3 basically since the first couple of weeks.
Yeah, hit a triple on the weekend. That was really important at the time. Got the Cavs over the line on that one, and obviously set them on their way to at least second spot.
Yeah, well, I think with that knock, he tied the game by driving in the tie and run, and then ended up scoring on a ground out by pushing it and getting to third. Scored on the ground out, put him ahead for
good baseball, good quality baseball in the tight situation. So David Harris very impressive all year. A couple of honourable mentions that didn't quite make the cut, a little bit stiff.
Yeah, well, you mentioned Logan Wade already with 2 homers. They won the game 3-2, and 2 of those 3 runs were solo shots from him. So
not shabby.
Pretty handy.
Good player. Good player. Very good player again. Logan Wade.
Yep.
One of those guys in Brizzy that it's just hard to get out.
Yep.
Really good. Grafts a good at bat and can hit it long. For me, Tyler Bortnick, getting him in there.
Any time, you get your entire
only
team's
guy to
total.
get a hit, save the no-hitter. So Tyler Bortnick, hats off to your son.
Yep.
You kept the pants on
Yes.
in that game by getting a single, so well played. So that's our hitters for this week.
Yep.
I reckon we might have a bit of a chat about some flamethrowers, some of the guys that piffed it pretty well from the hill, and there was quite a few on the weekend.
Well, I'm going to go with the guy that piffed it pretty well and has been piffing it pretty well for the majority of the year. A young bloke called Edwin Carl.
I think Edwin's posters on your wall at home in your bedroom, isn't he? Clothes
Out in the lounge.
Oh, in the lounge. Okay.
Yeah,
nice.
No, I didn't make the cut in the bedroom. But anyway, 7 innings. He gave up 7 hits, but like you say, 1 walk against 11 Ks.
11 strikeouts.
Pretty handy performance.
He also, I think he came out for the 7th or might have been the 6th, can't remember, but he had a high pitch count up to the hunch, came out, piffed it down again and did a really good job.
And that's another thing with him all year. He's had high pitch counts. He's been a real workhorse, which is great when you see the imports come out here and really put it all on the line for their team. It's always good to see.
It's interesting, isn't it? You have the independent league guys who can be horses and come out and keep throwing it, whereas they haven't got that pressure from their ball club back home saying, don't throw more than 100, mate, because when you get back to the States, you get your fingers smacked.
Well, we've seen it before where guys come out and they have huge seasons here, and it might get him another gig somewhere.
Might get a contract, yeah. He's been a little bit off the boil of late, but that was a really good performance. A couple of times he struck out the side as well, which was it was really good. Had the crowd up and going.
Yep.
So well done to him.
Cool. Your guy?
The Cone Man.
Not David.
Not David. Scotty Cone. Scotty Cone. He was really good.
Yep.
9 digs, complete game, which Canberra have led the league in complete games this year. Tacked another one on the end. Just a bit of an exclamation mark
Icing on the
for
cake.
Cone Man. Yeah, really good. Once again, only 1 strikeout, so didn't fool the batters too often with the strike 3, but got him in his counts and pitched to where he wanted to pitch.
And only 3 walks as well, so it was very much pitching to contact. The defence played well, I think, with 1 or 2 errors, but nothing of huge consequence. So that was a great outing.
Yep, Scotty Cone well played. Honourable mentions, which there are a few. There's some good performances.
Travis Blackley. He picked up the win in 6 innings, only gave up 2 hits, 6 Ks. Again, just almost a luxury for Brisbane to have at this time of the year.
It is. Shiny new toy, isn't it really? They've just got themselves a new toy who's going to be very handy.
And not one of those cheap toys, very high quality.
Quality toy who's got some pretty good experience behind him.
Yeah. And his mates with Sergio Romo.
Sergio Romo, your boy. Yeah, you like the Giants, don't you? No, he was very good, and he'll be a massive add for those guys.
Yeah. The little bloke from Adelaide,
Josh
you want to
Tiles, mentioned him before, 9 strikeouts, little fella, 6 innings, just really good quality. And since he's joined the rotation, hasn't missed a beat, hasn't skipped a beat. He's been really impressive.
And going deep into games.
Yeah, tip your hat. Tip your hat to Tolsey. He's really given the bite a bit of a boost coming down the stretch.
Sure. I got 3 other guys that we're going to call in there. Nick Veal through 7 innings, 7 Ks and a couple of earned runs.
Try the Veal.
Yes, Nick's version.
Very impressive. Tom Bailey, who's been good for weeks.
He has been a very honourable mention a few times.
Yeah, he's just been really good for Perth. Unfortunately, that's the last of them, but he's probably been the most impressive hurler over the last 5 or so rounds. So he threw 6 strikeouts in 5 innings, only gave up the 1 hit.
Yep.
So very well done to Tommy B.
Yeah, last one, Lachlan Wells with the Blue Sox picked up his first win for the year.
Quality kid.
Yeah. Yep. 5+ innings, only giving up 3 hits as well. So again, depending on what happens this week, we still don't know.
Of course.
If he's pitching game 3 or 4, it could be a hell of a lot on the line, depending on what's happening around the country.
You'd like to see more of him too. Like he's been pretty good, but obviously a lot of talent for kid, and he's going to go places.
Yeah. Yep. Definitely.
All right, so that's the hitters and flamethrowers. What about put our kahunas on the line, Cloden?
Predictions for this week?
Massive series coming up this week. Some predictions. Let's kick it off with Canberra right here at Cooper Stadium against the Adelaide Bates.
I'm going to call a split, which is going to be enough to get Adelaide in the playoffs. What were you going to say, Maurice?
I was going to say a split as well. I think you're right.
Yeah,
I think
that's all they'll need.
Both really good teams, playing pretty good baseball right now.
Yep.
And I think split's probably about right.
In which case would finish, the ladder would finish as it is now.
Which I'm thinking it's going to. It's going to be Brizzy, Canberra, Adelaide.
Blue Sox just missing out.
Yep, Adelaide v Canberra to get the right to go up to Brisbane and face Clatsy's boys up there.
Yes.
In the big one.
Yep. Speaking of the Blue Sox, they are hosting Melbourne in the final series for the year.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting, isn't it? Like Melbourne, nothing to play for again, but once again showed on the weekend they can still play some pretty reasonable ball.
Well, had nothing to play for in that last game, and that was one of the better performances.
Sort of maybe got a bit relaxed and just enjoyed themselves. So
Yeah.
see how that one goes. What do you think in Sydney?
I think Sydney are still going to be playing like they're a playoff team, so I'll take them 3-1, and Melbourne will get a game somewhere where they maybe play all nine positions. They just rotate every inning.
Yeah, I think Melbourne probably lead the league in winning one game a series, so I'm going to agree with you and say 3-1 the Blue Sox close. We're agreeing all over the shop.
Cool.
Let's try to disagree for Perth. The
Brisbane.
Heaters, the unhappy Heaters, in Brisbane against the Banditos.
I'm thinking that Brisbane, they're looking like a pretty professional outfit that are going to try and hit the ground running come Championship Series. So I'm going to say they'll do the sweep.
Sweep.
Well, Perth are probably going to be a bit down now. They know they're out.
It's a pretty tough trip to Brizzy too, all the way from Perth when you know you've got nothing to play for.
Yeah, so as much as they've still got so much quality on that roster, I think Brisbane will be just trying to really just fine-tune everything. So I'll go the sweep.
It's interesting to me to see how Perth react because it's sort of a position they haven't been in too often. Yeah. So they've got to go all the way across to Brisbane. They'll probably be pretty relaxed, like you say. They might just turn it on. I'm going to go 3-1 Brisbane, just to be a bit different, and I think Perth can probably pinch one.
They go celebrate with the surf afterwards.
I'm even going to call Tommy Bailey, he's my boy. He's going to
jag a W.
Going to get a W.
Yep.
But with the guys they've got, some pretty good quality arms. I reckon they can probably pinch one. But Brisbane, like you say, fine tune things at home. They'll be loving life. Get a few W's.
The crowd right behind them.
Then prepare for the fun and games of championship time.
Yeah.
Well done.
Cool.
All right, before we wrap it up, don't forget we've got Monica Madness where we talk about the guys with the best names in the ABL. Adelaide will be kicking off this week. Don't forget we've got guys like Dallas Gallant, Travis Tingle, some pretty big names there, so get onto that. Clothes, don't be sending any Collingwood Snapchats to me during the week, all right? We don't want to have anything like that going on.
That is certainly not happening.
Hot Corner. Just
What's Snapchat again?
keep things low key.
Yes.
Get on Twitter. Have a chat to us, see what you think. Tell us what you think. Get on the Facebook, be interactive, and get to the utmost. Get to the ballpark this week. If you're in Adelaide, if you're in Brisbane, if you're in Sydney, get off your booty and get to the ballpark because there's 3 massive series where there's going to be some really good baseball being played.
Yep, so get on down here to Cooper's Stadium if you're in Adelaide. Rocket Rodney, I'm talking to you.
Rodney!
Plenty of feedback for us every week, so shout out to the big man who watches all the time.
Yeah, good on you, Rodney. Thanks for the support, brother.
Actually, just one other shout out too I want to give to a little mate of mine who's his birthday over the weekend just gone, so a big happy birthday to Vino as well. Keep punching, fella.
Well done, Vin Dog. Good job. Yep, so get out to the ballpark, and if you're in Adelaide, you see me at the ballpark, don't be too scared to reach in your pocket, buy me a lager. That'd be good. Thanks for being with us, and we'll be back.
I don't drink.
Close are going to buy me a lager. Oh, nice. Thanks, man. Buy Close one too. He doesn't get out to the ballpark too often like me, but when we do, look after us. But so this is Brooke, Boris Kilpatrick, and
Jamie Cloden.
Signing off. We'll be back next week to talk about the week leading into the playoffs.
Playoff time.
Thanks for being with us on ABL Hot Corner.
See you later.